Hello YouTube, and welcome to another video from the media preacher Michael B. Gallagher. I haven't done a video for a while, and today something very exciting arrived in the post, and I kind of wanted to share it with you. And I've not yet done an unboxing video, so I thought now was probably a good time to start. So without further ado, let me unbox the item that I'm so excited to have received today. This is the package. I'll just open it here before I pull this out of the package. This is an item that I didn't know was being released. Had a little look on the internet and then saw that it was being released. Saw it for sale on Amazon about 2 months ago. Went to purchase it and it then transpired 2 days later that it was out of stock. Because this is a limited run, so I'm really lucky to have this package. I was able to pick it up on the HMV website. I ordered it immediately the next day as soon as I found it, and then they also sold out. So this is a very hard to get item. But it arrived in the post today. I think it's actually released on Monday, although it's going to be hard to get presumably, although HMV may have a few copies. But it's the Arrow release of The Thing. And I'm just looking at this now, and with the standard release schedule for Arrow, they've commissioned some specially commissioned artwork, which isn't in any of the other releases. It's a limited edition and it has various contents on it, I think, that's not available. Mostly packaging type contents. I think the video will be available just with the standard Blu-ray case to buy from either November or December, I think. But this is the limited edition version of it, which is presumably why it was so hard to get. I open it up, and of course there's the disc. It's a 1-disc set. Inside of the set, I've got some postcards, various postcards of the. I think these are probably the original theatrical posters of The Thing, and they go in with the Blu-ray cover. Then in addition to that, you also have this amazing poster, which has on one side of it the Arrow commissioned artwork, and on the other side the original theatrical artwork. So this side is the original theatrical artwork, as you can see, and this side is the new Arrow artwork that's been commissioned specially for the release. So you've got that. And then in addition to that, you've also got this fantastic booklet which talks about the cast. It gives you a full contents of the what's on the Blu-ray. Then there are some articles that have been published in this that specifically talk about the film and the making of the film. It looks to me like there's perhaps even excerpts from the original screenplay in here, which is fantastic. And then there's a whole note about the restoration, and this is why I was so desperate to pick up this release, because the transfer on this release is entirely new. It's taken from a 4K scan. It's been properly colour graded, and as I understand it, the transfer has been approved by John Carpenter, of course the director of the film. There's a little bit here about the restoration, and it says that this has been exclusively restored for release by Arrow Films. Now I know that Scream Factory did a release about a year ago in America. We didn't get that particular release in the United Kingdom. I'm told it was a very good release, but it was from a 2K transfer. This is an exclusive transfer that has been mastered from 4K master. And I think that the original film elements have been used to put it together, so it should look absolutely stunning. But I'll come on to a quick review of the film and to what I thought of the disc in the second part of this review. But it says that the film is presented, of course, in its widescreen full aspect ratio. It's got a 4.1 sound mix from the original Dolby 6-track masters. It also has a 5.1 DTS mix on it and a 2.0 stereo mix. And they were all made available by Universal Pictures. And it says here the original 35mm camera negative was scanned in 4K resolution on a pin-registered Ariscan at Universal Studios Post in Universal Studios, California. It said the primary grading and picture restoration were completed in London, and that the director and the director of photography both supervised and approved the final colour grading in Los Angeles, Culver City. So I can't wait to see it. It's a fantastic release. It's a beautiful limited edition box set with booklet, with posters, with postcards, and I think myself and my wife are now going to go away. We're going to watch the film, and then I'll come back to you in the second part of the review with my thoughts on how that transfer actually holds up, looking at it on a big projector. So I'll see you in the second part of this review. Hey guys, well, it's Saturday night. We've been waiting for this since July because the disc was ordered in July. It's now the week before Halloween. We watched a Child's Play movie last night, so tonight, given that it arrived today, it seems like a great time to actually spin the thing in the Blu-ray player, and let's see how this thing looks, because we've been waiting for it to arrive for so long. Can't wait to see it in such a good transfer, and I've got high hopes for it. So let's go over. We've got the poster right here. I'll take it out of its cover. I've actually changed the cover around. One thing I didn't say earlier, I think I have cut into it, is that you actually have the original artwork from the movie poster as a reversible slipcover to the new artwork that was commissioned for Arrow Films. So if I take the disc out of the case and put it into the Blu-ray player, hopefully the Arrow logo will come up, and we can watch the thing as it was meant to be seen on a nice big screen with a fantastic transfer, and hopefully it will look something like it did back in 1982 when it was originally released at the cinema. Now, of course, Arrow Films always have their intro. Presumably they'll start with their warning. Of course, none of this can go onto YouTube, or the video will get taken down, quite rightly so, for copyright reasons. But you've got the usual warning as you go into the disc, and then the normal Arrow titles that play, you know, through all the Arrow discs. And this is going to be a fantastic disc. Just want to quickly though show you the menu screen that you get with this prior to actually watching the movie. So we've just had a curry, it's Saturday night, and it's time to enjoy the thing in all of its big screen glory. As you see, there are special features on the disc which I'll cover tomorrow after we've watched them, and this is the menu screen essentially that you get when you play the disc. So without further ado, we've got our popcorn, and we've got our 5.1 surround sound system. I think it's time to hit the recliners up and enjoy the thing on a Saturday night. So we'll see you in the morning when we talk about the actual movie itself. See you soon. Hey guys, Michael Gallagher, the Media Preacher, back again. Well, it's now the next day, having enjoyed the thing on Blu-ray last night with my wife on our projector screen, and this is an amazing copy of the thing. Arrow Films, I think, have done an absolutely fantastic job in terms of getting a transfer that's worthy of such an amazing film. Now, I've had the thing on lots and lots of different formats. I've seen it so many times over the years. Originally recorded from television on pan and scan. I think I then had a pan and scan copy on videotape in the probably sort of mid-90s. And then I had the movie. It was one of my first Laserdiscs. I don't have the Laserdisc anymore to show you, which is a shame. But I remember the big selling point of that particular Laserdisc was the fact that it had a widescreen transfer of the film. And having a widescreen transfer of this film is so important because John Carpenter, it's a master using the camera in such a way that the frame is always so well put together, and there's something to look at on each side of the screen, in the middle of the screen, in every single shot. And it's one of the things about the film that I absolutely love, and I think that helps actually to create a lot of the tension that takes place throughout this film. The score, of course, is another great part of the movie, and it's so accurately reproduced on the sound of this disc. But I remember the sound of the original Laserdisc really blowing me away, and I remember being really surprised on the Laserdisc at how good that sound was. I really regret having sold it and not being able to still own the Laserdisc of it. But I did, I'm afraid, sell out Laserdisc quite quickly, and I imported this copy of the thing from America very early into the DVD sort of chronology. This is probably about 1998, and I remember loving this disc and playing it absolutely loads and loads and loads of times. It also, of course, has that fantastic documentary on this disc, Terror Takes Shape. The only problem with this version of the film is that it wasn't an anamorphic transfer. When I bought it, that wasn't a problem because I had a 4x3 TV, but it needed to be updated quite quickly as soon as I had a proper widescreen 16:9 television. The original Blu-ray release from Universal has the Terror Takes Shape documentary on it. It is anamorphic, and it's not a terrible transfer, but it's not a perfect transfer by any stretch of the imagination. There's quite a lot of digital noise resolution used in the transfer of that original release of the thing, which means that the film loses a lot of its natural film grain. The faces can at times look a little waxy to me. And there are some criticisms of it on the internet. There is a particular criticism of that original release of the thing and the digital noise resolution that's applied to the disc. It relates to a scene in which some characters are playing ping pong, and because it's been softened so much, the ping pong ball actually disappears at times throughout the shot. So you're probably wondering, what's the transfer like on the new edition of the thing from Arrow? Well, what I can say is that the film grain is back, it's present. The ping pong ball is present throughout the whole film. I don't know how this stands up to the Scream Factory release, which, as I said earlier on, was only a 2K scan. This is from a 4K scan. But of course, the resolution's not going to be any different because Blu-ray has its limitations. But what I would say is that this is a definitive version of the film. It's absolutely looks fantastic. The film grain's back. The colours are absolutely pristine. The whites are glaringly white. The blacks are very dark and deep. The oranges really stood out for me. There are some scenes where things explode in the movie, and those explosions are really, really well captured on this release. And I think you would expect high things of this release because, as I say, it is a new transfer. It's a 4K transfer, and it was a transfer that's been approved by the director and the director of cinematography of the film, so it really should be top-notch. I certainly am not now jealous or envious of the Scream Factory release. I'm very, very, very happy with this release. It looks absolutely amazing. My only criticism of this release is the fact that it's only on one disc, and there are lots and lots of special features on this disc also. So you have the Terror Takes Shape documentary included with it. You also have some new documentaries included with it. One's a short documentary about the film when it was originally released. And of course, quite famously, this was a film that was not popular at all on its release. And John Carpenter was talking to Empire Film Magazine. I read an article in Empire Film Magazine this month about the film, presumably because the release is now imminent. And what he says is that where were you all when the film was released? But he realises that it's actually new generations that have taken hold of the film. And one of the interesting things in the original Terror Takes Shape documentary is they talk about the release of the film and the fact it wasn't really that popular when it was released. And they talk about part of the problem being that same year, Steven Spielberg released E.T. about a very friendly alien that visits Earth. And of course, this is not such a friendly encounter, but it's a fantastic film. I absolutely love the ending of the film because it's so mysterious. It's sort of oblique as to what happens. There are two characters essentially left. Anybody that's watching this review, I hope, already knows what the film is about and has probably already seen it many, many times. So I'm sure I'm not spoiling anyone's enjoyment, and it's why I haven't really gone into what the film is about. I'm assuming that you know what it's about. If you're watching this review and you're considering buying this release. But I love the end of the film, how oblique it is. You can watch it one of two ways. You can watch it one way is, well, the good guys have won and the thing has been destroyed. The other way to interpret the ending is that there are two characters left at the end of the film. Is one of those characters the thing? Now, John Carpenter, in his interview with Empire Magazine this month, confirmed that it was his intention that yes, one of those characters is actually not the original character, but the alien. For years, there's been this debate that the child's character is actually the alien, because in the last scene, you can see Kurt Russell's breath as he's talking, but you can't see Childs' breath when he's talking. I watched that quite clearly on this edition, and while you can't see his breath as well, you can actually still see his breath in parts of the scene. And John Carpenter actually confirmed to Empire Magazine this month that that is just fan speculation and that was not intentional on his part, which is a shame because it'd be a fantastic giveaway, wouldn't it? But no, great film, really, really worthy upgrade. It's a shame it wasn't over 2 discs, as I say, because the bit rate of the disc may have been higher. I'm not sure what difference that would ultimately make to the quality of the film though, because as we watched it on a huge screen, I had absolutely no complaints. It looks like a film that was made in the early 80s, but it shouldn't look like a new digital transfer. It's got that authenticity, but it's perfectly recreated in my submission on this disc. And if anybody's wondering, should I upgrade from the existing Universal Edition to the Arrow Edition, I think my answer would be, if you love the film, then you have to upgrade to this edition, because it's worth every single penny for the transfer and for the way that you'll watch the film from now going forward. It's a shame that Arrow don't release 4K discs. I don't have a 4K Blu-ray player, and so can't benefit from that yet. But I know a lot of you do have, and if you've got a 4K Blu-ray player, then you might want to hold off, because I'm sure this will be released as a 4K edition at some point. But if right now you're happy with Blu-rays, and I certainly am, and you're thinking, should I upgrade The Thing? My answer would be yes. If you're someone that's never seen The Thing, I absolutely can say to you, please view the film, and if you're going to buy an edition of the film, this is the edition to buy. And if you love the film but have never gotten around to buying it on Blu-ray and simply have that old DVD, then you need to upgrade to this edition, and I would suggest to you, please get it. As I say, I've actually got the limited edition run of this with this case and with all this packaging, but the film is just being released on its own, I think in December. You can pick it up from Amazon, HMV, all the usual places, and if you enjoy the film, you enjoy collecting Blu-rays, I would definitely pick this up. So until next time, that's Michael Gallagher, the Media Preacher, over and out.